Welcome back, Saints, to game two of the Best of Fire series versus the uOttawa GGs. As we already are jumping into that banning phase, getting straight into things as we are on the final phase of the first round, as Morgana and Seraphine are taken away from the side of uOttawa, followed by the Camille, actually, leaving that Gnar up this time, so forcing uOttawa to either give Kubra the Gnar or ban it themselves. But Anivia, Olaf, and Udyr banned on the side of uOttawa, so leaving that Gnar up, and there it is, that first pick Gnar for Kubra in the top lane.
Okay, so yay and oh dear at the same time here because okay, so bans once again focused in, get rid of the Anivia because Frez just basically spams that champion. And then okay, you don't want Active Force to get ahead, which was basically one of Saints' win conditions in the past. Get rid of the two carrying junglers. Again, Olaf gone, Udyr gone. And okay, sure, Kubra gets the Gnar. Now you have your entire pick and ban phase to try and counterpick this Gnar, and we're going to see one of my personal favorites, Kennen, coming out to play. Probably to go tit for tat here with Gnar in the top lane, or with Kubra's Gnar rather in the top lane, or could go mid. We'll have to see. This is already looking like to be an explosive composition coming out here from uOttawa. If this Kha'Zix does get locked in, okay, gonna keep it safe. Can't go wrong with the Caitlyn. Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to that Caitlyn pick and pick up the Kennen as well, which is a pretty fair, I believe, matchup into Gnar, having some range and just overall damage in team fights. So they're able to shut that down and keep him basically useless. It's going to be really good for Cooper in the top lane. And followed up by the Galio, actually, as one of most likely it's going to be going into that mid lane with Frez, I'm assuming, to keep some pressure and having a stable
Hmm.
tank AP, but keeping also the flexibility alive.
I don't know though. Talking to like some of the players in the past and whatnot, it is known across this League of Legends team for St. Clair that Frez absolutely hates playing Galio. Straight up to the point where he is ready to essentially whine anytime he has to play it. So, I mean, big props for him if he is going to pick it up here and the team absolutely needs it. But I have the slightest of hunch here that this is going to be going over to Miensfo because I feel like one, they wouldn't pick Frez's champion this early, and two, Frez hates the champion. So I think this is going to go down to the bot lane, but we'll have to see, especially since they're kind of still banning out a few of these known mid laners here for Open Backpack. Of course, a Twisted Fate with some decent success. I wouldn't call it game-changing, but it was still definitely effective.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's gonna be the Ash and Jinx taken off the board for Lazi. So a double AD ban from uOttawa targeting his pool, as Zoe and Oriana are taken away from Open Backpack. And one of the interesting picks in the last phase was that Jarvan coming down, classic Galio Jarvan uh, combo, as Rek'Sai is picked into it as a counter, as Corki is being hovered for that mid lane. So it's going to be most likely a blind Corki here in that mid lane, leaving support as their last pick.
It's definitely extremely interesting. Of course, Corki is just one of those mid laners that is just safe. Like, you don't know what you're going up against, fire Corki at it. It's probably still going to be effective for the most part, considering you can always just get yourself out of dodge there with that Valkyrie. So
Mm-hmm.
wise play there from the side of uOttawa. They're going to be able to see exactly what St. Clair is cooking up here before they pick their final champion as well. We're going to see Aphelios come out for Lassie. It's going to be the first time this season I think we see it as well. So again, Saints going to be keeping on the trend of new champions for the playoffs. And I'm knocking on wood for the side of the hometown St. Clair College squad, but at the same time, for the uOttawa GG's side of things, I'm kind of licking my chops right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Okay.
actually kind of just a little flex here, giving Prez that Kiana. So I was mistaken in the Galio, leaving it to go in that bot lane alongside Lazi and the Aphelios, but it's gonna be most likely Alistair, yeah, coming in from Digital Lotus. May swap over to Possibly the rel. I wouldn't hate the rel coming through as it's a bit of an engage, and it's gonna be that rel. And being paired along to Caitlyn, not much synergy with traps, but a lot of damage and engage coming through again for the side of uOttawa. And have to see how Sinclair does manage with this comp as they are very AD heavy now. Major AP threat like a Kennen on the side of uOttawa, or even that Corki who does magic damage with some of his abilities. But relying solely based on this Galio for some of the magic damage on their team and trying to shut down that early aggression that's going to be coming through from the side of uOttawa.
Okay, Matt, I'm scared. I don't think this is going to go well for the Saints in the slightest, and I'll tell you why in just a second as we do throw it over to us here. So, one of the biggest problems so far, like from talking to players, talking to coaches and whatnot, is how much weight does the coach have over picking bands? Because of course Zeddy,
Mm-hmm.
that's his big thing. He's analytical. He breaks everything down. It's like, okay, these are the compositions that should be played. This to me right now does not scream a Zeddy composition. This
Yeah.
this says like it kind of goes hypocritical here because of what I said earlier, where I said I want to see them on some things they've played before. Their solo queue heroes is not what I was talking about when I was saying that here, and this just looks like to me that the players said, "I want to play my fan favorites. I want to play
Yeah.
like, oh yay, we've got Cooper and Gnar, which granted Gnar is pick or ban right now, so it's a good pick. But oh yay,
Mm-hmm.
we have Frez Kiana, he loves that champion. And then I was just like, I like Aphelios. Like, I want to be wrong here so badly. But from everything that I've seen, this screams players just took over the pick and bans, and then if I was the coach, I would be
Yeah.
kind of shaking my head a little bit. And I'm not trying
It's
to cuss out the Saints, but this is from an outsider looking in, this is what I feel like is going on here, and it makes me nervous.
Yeah, it's a lot of there's a lot of synergy with this comp. You have a Jarvan, if he hits a massive cataclysm on top of a Galio, you have the Kiana who can just ult the Jarvan wall and it blocks or it just locks everyone in place for that Aphelios ulti on top. So the synergy is there with everyone on this team. It's a matter of execution and how they're able to do it. Um, like you were saying, it does look like it's a very comfort heavy comp. This is not something that Zeddy would just draft purely based on it's good right now. Frez on his Kiana in that mid lane, making I believe last time he was on it, they did do win. So was able to keep it, as we made the joke. If he gets over 7 kills last time, he was able to keep playing that Kiana. So
Yes, but that was versus a team that was way lower ranked than uOttawa.
that
That's
is
the only
true.
thing. Like, I get if you're playing up against a team that you're maybe a little bit confident over. Like, I'm not saying that you
Mhm.
play with your food, but if you're looking to try something a little bit different, then okay, go for it. Versus a maybe a lower seeded team. But
Mm.
like you said, this is seed 2 of the entire tournament.
Yeah, and it's very interesting they went with the Felios here in this bot lane. You have the Kaisa still available as well, and she's still very good in this meta, even into these. She may be outranged by that Caitlyn, so I can understand you have the Aphelios with his long range sniper to match that Caitlyn in the early game as long as he has it up. But very different comp coming out here from Clair, and if they do misexecute it just a sliver, it may just all fall apart, and we're down 0-2 in the series, and they're going to be a very, very long road to come back into.
Of course, just actually real quickly fixing up your predictions for game number 2, and this one is going to be highlighted on Kubra. Of course, we saw the tweet come out earlier today, like he was getting this Gnar warmed up. Says he's got this very scary carry Gnar ready to go, and the clip was versus or was getting a 5-player ultimate. So the prediction. Will we see Cooper find himself one of those beautiful 5-player Gnar ultimates in this game at all? We'll have to see. Might take a little while for us to figure out, but get your channel points in while you can as we get on ready. Game number 2, just about to hop into it momentarily. 3, 2, 1. Let's get into the game.
Yeah, it's a classic little line of scrimmage again.
Okay. Thankfully, one of the beautiful things about having the Twitch chat here is they are giving me a little bit of extra insight into this combo. And it looks like according to some of the members from Flaren specifically, it's that Jarvan works with Kiana and Gnar to build basically a wombo combo.
Yeah.
Which definitely does make sense here. Especially since, of course, the Cataclysm, it does make a wall. So in theory, maybe getting one of those huge Gnars from Kubra or one of the solid Kiana ultimates might be a little bit easier, but I'm still very skeptical, to say the least.
Yeah, like I was saying in that when they did select it, it was basically built for that that all-in fight. You know, you have Jarvan who, if he does hit that massive cataclysm onto 3-4 members, you know, you have a Galio on top of it, and Mega Gnar coming in to scoop them all in with Kiana just hitting everyone in that circle, and Aphelios, if he does have that flamethrower, just completely one-shotting their entire team. So it's very not skill shot heavy, but
like high execution.
It's up to the player. Yeah, high execution. It's up to players that they can manage to get it down, and if it any little errors in it, it can easily just fall apart.
That's just it. It's not like the Saints are new to wombo combo kind of styles. In fact, I feel like it's probably one of their strengths. And it usually has Mansfield on something like an Alistair, for example. But I guess Galio can fill a very similar role. Looking to dive on in, lock up some CC. We're going to see them hit level 2 as well. But of course, Digital Lotus does have that jump available. Get himself out of dodge nice and safe without blowing any flashes. So at least for now, this St. Clair bot lane seems to have control. But of course, still extremely early.
Yeah, and you can see that TA for Life actually is going for a really greedy start here, starting Cole as his first item. So really feeling himself this lane, hoping that he can keep up with or just keep Lazi down. But this early pressure coming in from the St. Clair bot lane is just being really good at punishing this Caitlyn and Rel.
Of course, that's always one of the things I have a hard time here with this Aphelios, is that with his weapons changing constantly, he could basically match T4Life's Caitlyn's range whenever he does have the sniper version of that weapon available, but it is, of course, limited uses, so can't hang on to it forever.
As long as he does have that Calibrum, he will be able to match her for the majority of this early laning phase, but as you can see, he's already down to his last 7 shots, so he's going to be switching over to Flint's Flamethrower as he already has this Gravitum.
While we have a quick lull in the action, big thank you to Zetsuba, of course, Hearthstone coach Ryan, coming in clutch with that channel subscription. Thank you for supporting the broadcast here on the St. Clair Saints channel, of course. Thank you so much. Oh no, Frez. Oh, that's a rough start there. That is going to be first blood going on over the Flux Ray, but it looks like the bot lane going to try and answer at least. But Mietso a little bit overextended. One more shot's going to do it, and of course, T4 Life has all the range in the world, and okay, apparently we're just going to take the scenic route back to our spawn, Active Force. Not sure what kind of pathing happened there, but absolute spaghetti. Lassie still going point blank with the jousting Digital Lotus. I don't think that's going to be very wise, as he's going to end up going down, and again, just questionable overextensions. Really screwing over the Saints there. In theory, I get Frez going down there. Yes, of course, Rek'Sai is absolutely fantastic for engages like that. But everything else that happened after Frez went down was just absolute overextension. That's really, really frustrating. I can only imagine here for Zeddy, for the Saints, and even for us on the desk here a little bit.
Yeah, and you can see Mans was trying to hold this wave here and hopefully get a freeze, but just taking way too much damage, so it's going to be able to crash in for the side of uOttawa. So they're pretty happy with that, as Russ is going to get ganked here by Active Force. And it's actually going to go down to the Gnar up here. So something coming in for this little top lane as he was getting hard shoved in and matching up in that gold now, but little little plays will try and keep St. Clair afloat as that mid skirmish did this happen as Axe Force did manage to find Flux in the end, but did trade his life as he took so much damage from open backpack, and that bot lane skirmish as well, just so unlucky as Lazi was one auto away from finishing off TA for life, but the Rel remounted and knocked him back, so he got his auto canceled. It was just so unlucky.
Definitely frustrating. And then the go down after that. That's one of those table flippers, to say the least, moments.
Yeah.
Seeing the auto get canceled like that, definitely frustrating, but able to rebound. I do like, of course, what Active Force did. He did, of course, end up going down early, but he made the switch and actually assisted Kubra up there in the top lane. The fact that Gruss was so pushed in, like you said, just made it essentially easy pickings. Good flag and drag to set up Kubra. And Kubra getting himself in the lead here in regards to the kill anyway is a good Kubra. We like to see that kind of Kubra.
Oh,
huge!
He does get the steal, actually. He's going to risk his life, but he gets the Ocean Drag. In the end, was it actually worth the steal? But
maybe not right now.
Yeah.
But it might later.
Yeah, right now it's not. That was a lot of damage coming up from Frez there. But the Rek'Sai is ganking that mid lane there. Wasn't able to get anything from it as he unloaded a bit too far to the left. A little bit of bot lane skirmish here. The Caitlyn is level 6, but maybe up too far. Digital may find himself in a bad spot as Aphelios does have his shurikens, and he's just melting through Digital's health bar. He does not have that flash, and he will go down to Lazi in the end. Ignite is there,
they
but
gotta run.
Flux is on the side as well. Lazi does have some really good weapons, and actually they're fighting the top lane now. Gnar does go on to Gruss, but Gruss has a lot of damage back in. In the end, Gruss is looking like he's winning this as he does have the Unseal Spellbook and Ignite, so really close to that top lane and bot. But in the end, St. Clair does come out with a 1-for-0, finding Digital in the end.
I mean, clutch there for Gruss to be able to pop that that ultimate as Kubra was going on in with the engage, because that at least made it even. Now we're going to see Mesfo charge on forward, but of course, anytime you miss that engage, you're definitely going to be taking a good chunk of harassment in the meantime. Active Force is here, but he has to be careful. So is Fluxray, literally right in the river, ready to make a counter gank here. Looking to see if the Saints engage, not going to be the case. Kubra going to have to flash back towards a turret. Bit of a messy spot here. Turrets, 1, 2, takes them down. Okay, best case scenario there for Kubra. Going to keep himself in this game thanks to a little bit of assistance from the turret.
That was such a good play from Kubra, though. Flashing, instead of flashing away from him, he flashes back towards him over his tower and drags him back under, knowing that he's going to be able to trade it back by CCing him. It's going to be a taunt on the tower here on the Digital Lotus. Most likely, Mansell will go down, but Digital Lotus does take a lot of damage. In the end, will go down, but Flux is there over the edge and just barely surviving. As it's going to be a 1-for-2 in this bot lane as Digital goes down once again.
All right, uOttawa's making plays again, but they haven't necessarily been as clean as they would have, of course, want it. In those situations, if you're going to get the gank off and you can make it yourself go 1-for-1, I mean, you're still sad that you died, but you're at least happy that you took somebody down with you, right? It is going to be a little unfortunate in regards to those tower plates, however, though. It's going to be TA for life finding himself at least 1, maybe 2 of those plates, so more gold in the bank for him. And we do see them starting off with almost a 3,000 gold lead, really getting things started off nicely. And with Saint's composition not necessarily being as heavy scaling compared to last game, any lead that uOttawa GGs get to start things off, I am definitely worried about.
Yeah, and as you can see, items are coming through as the Prowler, my mistake, is going to be finished for that Rek'Sai and Gale Force finish for the Caitlyn, so huge item spikes in. They're looking for possibly to get this package off for top lane, but a ward spotting out. Actually, the Corki may be in a bad spot right now as he blast comes over the wall into Gnar, does package back over the wall to save himself from any danger that may happen. But in the meantime, Axe Force did pick up the first Herald of that game, so looking to possibly get something down this top lane. And might be actually predicting the Rek'Sai coming up here right now as he's prepared to counter gank him.
To say who's predicting who here. It looks like actually Fluxray, they know this is the case here. And Rek'Sai gonna make the move on in. Ultimate popped here from Gruss, and here goes so much AoE damage across the board. And huge play coming out here from uOttawa GG's. Fluxray gonna find himself the double stun coming out there from Gruss as well. Completely shutting down any form of aggression that the Saints tried to pull.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fight down this bot lane. The Storm does come out from the Rel, and a lot of damage coming down from Loz. He's gonna take out down T4, and it's gonna be a root onto Digital, and he's gonna have to remount, but he's gonna go extra squishy and goes back in, and it's gonna be a double kill going up to Lozy, which is huge for St. Clair. But that top lane fight just so unlucky as Cooper wasn't able to find his Mega, and they're really predicting this fight. And Cooper does TP down, does pop the Blast Cone, but gets rooted up, and nothing's gonna come from it as Frez is backed and no one's in that mid lane.
That caught me off guard for a second. I didn't expect them to get the Blast Cone, but it definitely makes sense. Would have cut off an escape, but of course, at the end of the day, Cannon's still just too quick. Cooper not going to get as much for that as he would want, but he's at least able to get there in time for those minions. And actually, with Lassie just having so much attack speed, and then bring Shelly involved in here as well, there goes the bot tower completely. So a nice way to cash themselves back into this game, but here comes Gruss. Miensvo is here. Can he keep Lassie alive? I think that's going to be a tall task. A good taunt's coming out here from Miensvo, but it's going to be too little too late. Shut down on for Gruss, and they do find Miensvo, who just came back to lane. Well, I guess you're going to be seeing gray screen once again here, unfortunately, and Frez is going to be here to basically just hold the wave, but this should be Dragon in the favor of uOttawa GG's, should they want it.
Yeah, they get first tower, but in the end they lose two members of the side of St. Clair, and Open Backpack does get 2 plates in that mid lane for free as Frez did a roam down to the bot lane thinking he could do something, but maybe another steal coming from through Active Force, finds the steal again, and Fluxray, he's taking a lot of damage, will get Active Force, but will maybe go down himself. No, he does manage to go over the wall, but he's in wrong territory right now. Lazi is getting close to him, does get the movement speed and knows where he is. Will go down and get the shutdown, but Mansell has to be careful, does have the Rel there, and he will make it out. But a really good play coming in through Active Force, finding these steals.
That's back-to-back steals, just keeping the Saints in this game objectively when they really shouldn't be. Frez is going to get actually extremely aggressive here, looking for one more shot to take care of Open Backpack, but he's going to shut the door on them with just a fringe of health remaining. But the dive now ensuing here. Lazi not going to be long for this world. He's really trying to turn this. He has so much damage. He turned that by himself. Huge play for Lazi, able to get that 2 for nothing.
That's why you don't dive Felios with his shurikens up, because he really just going to one-shot anyone with his ulti. He gets about, I think, 11 of them, and just completely shredded through TA4, and then just Digital just stuck there under tower tanking, just dies afterwards. And bit of an unfortunate play as well mid lane, as I believe Mansfo didn't throw his Q out, was hoping that the Ignite would kill off Open Backpack, but he had that Immortal Shield Bow saving his life, and in the end didn't find anything. 7-3-0 on that Aphelios now, and is pretty close in CS, only down about 2. Does go down again with the X Flash, and nothing to come from it as Fluxray there, but they're actually looking to continue on this. Fluxray may have found himself too far out. That's going to be a kill going over to Frez. They may find the route onto Backpack here, but Digital loads right over the wall to disengage that. And a really overextension from Fluxray there. Getting a bit greedy as Backpack did walk up again, taking a bit of damage.
Yeah, with everybody here in the mid lane, though, this could, in theory, let T4, or T4, TA4 Life, it's tax season, I'm sorry, TA4 Life to go possibly push that bot lane, opting to actually join up with everybody here in the river. So, possible engage about to go down. Top laners, both, of course, don't have TP, or Cooper doesn't have his TP, and Gruss just doesn't have TP, period, opting for Exhaust instead. Now, this is another one of those games that I'd be very worried with. Of course, Lazi find himself 7-3. Yes, he's doing fantastic in regards to finding himself some eliminations, and then like Mienso, of course, with all the setups in the world, keeping Lazi in this game. But I still kind of feel like right now it's all eggs in the Lazi basket. A couple of the other Saints members need to get this close. Granted, Cooper is actually extremely close. He may be down a level, but he's got himself at least his mythical right now. And of course, that Gnar ultimate is just such a game changer if he could find it properly.
And it looks like they're going to be roaming up to this top lane. Do they have the Galio ulti and the Jarvan up on the top side, where they're going to opt for, excuse me, the Herald. Taking that second Herald. Do have vision on to the jungler right now as Mansfield does pop the Scryers and blast coming over the wall, and it's looking like it's going to be a skirmish around this Herald right now. Big thing to note is that Cooper just went out of Mega, but it's not going to mean anything as Digital just goes down instantly. Actually, he gets out of it, and Flux is going to be the one going down, and the package coming over from behind is huge on the Mansfield, but open backpack, when I say, isn't going to find much. Actually, he does find the kill, and the Winds of War does find Digital in the end, and Kiana does go down afterwards, but this is not over yet as Lazi just popped his ulti. They won't find much as Uber is going to jump forward onto T4. He does find it. In fact, the trade kill. This is a scrappy fight as Lazi going to have to wait for his cooldown to come up, possibly, but it's going to be the crit coming in from Open Backpack, and going to be the ace coming in from uOttawa. Just a complete fighting fight just happening in that river. Is completely scrappy.
And the fact that this top turret's going to get pushed down possibly as well is going to be unfortunate here for St. Clair. Again, I liked what they are going for, but it just did not quite get executed properly. The Wombo combo didn't necessarily actually find its mark. And then I like the idea about the re-engage, like halfway through that fight, but not everybody was on board with it. Cooper was long in that second part of the engage before Lazi was. Miensfo dived in, basically got himself killed prior to Lazi moving back into the fight. And then if everybody was on the same page, everybody jumped on in, that probably could have been still a 5 or 4 for 5 or whatever, but it probably would have been in the Saints' favor. Possibly. It very well still could have been turned around. It was still a solid job there from Open Backpack. He used basically every piece of utility he possibly could properly, saving the big one for the right moment. Had the enhanced Valkyrie, I can't remember what you called that. The when he goes back to base to pick up the big one. You know what I mean?
Oh, the care package.
The care package, yes. He had that care package ready. And even early in that team fight, it did separate the bot lane from the rest of that engage. And we could have ourselves another one, as Saints are looking for the dragon, but it's not going to go uncontested.
The Gnar bar is almost full here, and he's going to pop that Gnar bar in. Russ is going to pop the stopwatch in. Gnar comes out, but he does not find anyone on the ulti, but a huge Kiana ulti comes out on top and finds one member, but the inside of St. Clair just goes down, actually. 3 for 1 is an end total, and it was such an unfortunate thing as Gnar did not find a single member, and the side of uOttawa just cleans up after taking so much damage.
Okay, so which team composition was supposed to be the Wombo combo? Because that just did not go in the Saints' favor at all. And, of course, a lot of it did have to do, of course, with the big Gnar ultimate just not quite finding the target that he was looking for, or any target, period, rather, that time by. And it's going to be huge profits here for the side of the uOttawa GGs, able to find themselves a dragon. Gruss getting extremely overconfident, getting that Rift Herald started, but was probably for the best, as they're going to be able to get the dragon, they're going to get the Herald. It got, I think it was a 3 for 1, but big profits here for uOttawa.
Yeah, and it looked like it was going to go so heavily in the side of St. Clair as they had that Gnar bar at full. They had the Kiana ulti on top, the Galio ulti coming down as well, but the Gnar missing almost everyone in that fight somehow, and the Kiana ulti only hit one member onto Flux, so wasn't in the favor as Gruss's Maelstrom just completely shredded through the side of St. Clair and basically just wiped them as they try turning around and one-shotting him, but doesn't have that stopwatch for the next fight, assuming he won't have enough gold to buy in the next minute if one breaks out. But with Baron spawning in 15 seconds, have to see how St. Clair wants to manage this one, as Rez is going to find Backpack here. Throw a little poke and run away.
And like with these team compositions, it's just kind of rough here for St. Clair, because obviously they want to be the ones diving in. They have the Gnar, they have the Jarvan, they have Kiana, and of course they have the Galio that all want to be going in. And even for a sense, Lazi on the Aphelios as well wants to be going in with the shurikens for maximum DPS. Meanwhile, Gruss is just absolutely licking his lips because it's like, oh, you want to jump on me? I press R. Good night. Like, you instantly shut down a hard engage composition like that with just your ultimate, let alone also Digital Lotus on the Rel. Doesn't mind if you kind of group up and dive in either. So Saints want to engage, but meanwhile, the uOttawa GGs, their team feels very anti-engage, which is just absolutely crushing Saints in these 5-on-5s.
Yeah, it's just they haven't been able to find their fight yet. You know, I don't think I've seen one Jarvan ulti come out at all during this entire game, and they haven't been able to just find that key thing of Jarvan going in on top of the enemy team, finding his time to shine with Galio, the Gnar, and Kiana ulti on top. But this next fight will most likely dictate how this game will end, as only about 4,000 or 5,000 gold in the favor of Ottawa. So still very for them to come back, and Axforce may get caught out here. Doesn't offer through, but a nice Kiana ulti comes through the barrel on top, but Axforce does find his way out as Flux will get him, but Kiana does go down. The Galio ulti finds the top end. Here comes Gnar on top, finding a 2-man stun, but the Caitlyn does find him in the end. But Lazi, he may have been off more than he can chew as he's taking up a lot of damage here. The crit's coming through as Open Backpack finds 3. He's trying to look for 4, and he does find it. The Quadra kill coming out for Open Backpack.
How many rockets does he have stored in that backpack? Seems to have the big one ready at a perfect moment's notice. Just absolutely crushing it so far. 10, 0, and 5. Open Backpack absolutely a threat here in game number 2. Just not dealt with at all, keeping himself safe, but yet still so much damage. You have to deal with both TA for life. You have Open Backpack. So deadly. And yet Gruss is also doing a good chunk of damage as well. And everybody on the side of uOttawa GG is doing exactly what they need to do as well. Any sort of engage that even comes close to getting properly done here from the Saints just kind of gets eaten up by either the Rel or the Rek'Sai. Now, Fred's going to try and make something happen, however, but he's probably going to go down. Just does not quite have the fed damage that he thought he had. Yes, you have 3 kills, but at the same time, you're going up against a 7-kill, 11-assist Caitlyn. There with TA for life. You're not winning that fight.
Yeah, and she's just going to crit every auto and get a few headshots off, and you're just going to burn down really quickly, as Uber wasn't able to get there in time, and Mianspo just wasn't fast enough. So nice kiting from TA for life, as I thought he was going to die there as he got caught out, but as he's not careful, they may find Mianspo and Lazi in these bushes. They're looking for a possible engage, but just gonna scare them out as they clear some wards and get some vision on that Baron. But drag spawning in 10 seconds for that Mountain Soul. So if St. Clair wants to contest this or just go straight for Baron, but looks like they might be
very decisive, it looks like.
Yeah, I see some pings coming down onto that Baron, some onto the Dragon, and everyone's just kind of split up, not knowing where they want to go. And the Dragon's just going to come for free for the side of uOttawa. And as well, they're just making a march straight to Baron now, as they know they can win any team fight.
I mean, like, Teamwork 101, from what I understand, is at least, even if it's the wrong call, everybody needs to commit to it. I'd take that call over everybody just kind of, not bickering, but thinking back and forth and doing nothing. And it felt like that's kind of what the Saints went for. Maybe they felt like they didn't have the damage to burst the Baron down in time, which could be fair enough. So they just opted to ward and then go back to farming. But even still, now Baron is going to be on the menu. We see uOttawa looking at it right now, actually getting it started. Do you want to take this fight? I think this is just going to be a bait. Yeah, Frez is still so far away, right around the corner. He's going to get singled out here if he's not too careful. But a smart disengage again here for the side of the uOttawa GGs. They know that their team composition is better if you dive on them first. So they're not going to pull the trigger. They're just going to annoy you. Bring Frez back up to this mid lane so that Gruss can just go right back to the bot lane and just kill this turret. Like, they're doing this so perfectly here. They're making Saints do absolutely nothing, even though they feel like they're doing everything.
Yeah, and they're just slowly picking them apart as Russ didn't have that TP to get in the fight, but they knew that they could just pressure the Saints to this Baron, and they're going to start it up once again. As Active Force did get completely chunked out the last time, had the back, and it's just going to be shredded down, already down to 5k, and St. Clair doesn't even really know anything as the Baron is gets spotted out by Active Force, does use his way into the pit, and he's going to call the Cataclysm down. A nice Kiana ulti comes down. They do find the
There we go.
T4. That's the fight St. Clair has been looking for. That's a 4-man, making it a Baron on top of that. St. Clair finding their fight finally.
Absolutely perfect. Gruss was nowhere near that fight. That Lightning Maelstrom was not there to stop the engage. And Saints finally get themselves a bit of an extended combo, because it wasn't necessarily what they were looking for. But that being said, Cooper was able to find the 3-player Gnar right on the outside of the Baron pit. So Saints, huge play to get themselves back into this, back within about 5k or so of this gold lead. Still have a bit of a ways to go, but getting that Baron and it not going into uOttawa hands, absolutely clutch. Nicely done there from the St. Clair Saints.
Yeah, and they don't have to worry about a soul coming up anytime soon, so they can just use this Baron as that pressure to get these waves out, as Lazi does pick up an IE and a GA right now, so he is massive on this Aphelios, and if they don't get a pick onto him, it's easily going to go on the side of St. Clair in any fight. But T4 just, or TA4, my mistake.
Sorry.
Back season, you know. Was he did get caught out on that rotate from Baron. Lazi and Miansfo were able to act on it real fast and got a nice pick to clean up the fight there. But the side of St. Clair, they're really looking strong after that team fight. That's the fight they've been looking for, and that momentum's going to push up as Cooper may find himself getting just completely one-shot here by the Rek'Sai, but it may be the Rek'Sai going into a bad spot, but does just actually go over the wall into the immunity as Dig goes on top of everyone. But Gruss is here. If he's not careful, they may find a really bad fight, but St. Clair does disengage this fight as is gone. But it's actually been a flash engage. They're looking for Lazi, but will they be able to find it? Gruss does go invisible as Kiana goes on to everyone else. The nice care package coming in from open backpack does pop the GA of Lazi, and this is most likely going to be Lazi going down here. They actually whiff everything, but they have the crits on top of it, and will be Lazi going down. Only Kiana standing at 15 seconds.
Okay, Cooper is just too valuable here in these team fights. Like if he's down, you just disengage. I'm very surprised that the Saints kind of twirled their thumbs a little bit as soon as he went down. They kind of hovered around the mid lane. It looks like they're getting ready to retreat, but they didn't decide quick enough. And of course, one of the few ways this team can actually get a proper engage is, of course, Flash Lightning Maelstrom there from Gruss, who was able to lock down at least 3 of the Saints members, not to mention some of the squishy members as well. Let everybody go in there. Open backpack was just basically just shooting discs in the fields of Summer's Rift at that point. Just doing tons of damage, of course. And now, with Dragon right around the corner, this would set up the Soul Point. Not quite Soul Point itself as of yet. Saints opts to take themselves and engage. In all reality, they still have a lot of resources available. Frez is going to have his ultimate back up by the time this gets underway, and then everybody else in the Saints still have their ulti.
Cooper is almost into his mega form as the drag is starting up. They do have vision onto it. They do opt to back off it as Lazi steps on one of the traps, and they're going to just completely shred it down as Dig tries to go into this fight, but St. Clair is wanting to take this.
Nice.
That's the ulti they're looking for as well. The Maelstrom comes down, they just actually find it before he goes anything. Actforce does go down as well as Flux, and here comes the Gnar, gets rooted up, finds the 3-man into the wall. And that's going to be a complete wipe for St. Clair, as well as the ace possibly come through if they do find A4, as he does get rooted down, and actually gets a double crit onto everyone, and Lazi is the last one alive to find it, and with the waves not going in their favor, won't be able to get that mid tower. But
okay, so in one regard, okay, lots of assists to everybody, lots of kills onto Lazi, but at the same time, one mid inhibitor is kind of beating down your door. 2, that's Mountain Dragon number 3, so Soul Point right around the corner now. And then TA for life, bringing that from what was, I believe, a 2 for 5 to a 4 for 5, just by a couple last stutter steps.
Yeah.
Absolutely clutch for him. Of course, just goes to show how much not only like how fed Lansing is, but also how fed with not just kills but assists that TA for Life has right now, where every single shot just absolutely destroys you, like a proper sniper would. Just it just seems like every shot is finding the weak spot, so to speak.
Yeah, and
Takes everybody down,
if
regardless of how tanky.
yeah, and if you look at it, he's been a part of 35 out of 37 of those kills, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken. My math may be wrong. I think my math may be wrong.
25, I think. So
Something,
still,
yeah, all right,
still a ton.
close enough.
It's
But I
it's why we
believe the
don't do
most.
quick math on stream.
Yeah, I believe he does have the most in the game, like the highest KP, but does pick up that GA right now, and will be harder for St. Clair to take out unless they find that pick again. And with the hourglass coming up back up for the cannon, will be a bit harder for them to pick him out, as he didn't have it that last team fight. But even then, he was able to just do so much damage in CC for the side of St. Clair, or for the side of uOttawa, my mistake.
Okay, so next objective on the board here, probably going to be this Baron up within the next 40 seconds or so. Of course, St. Clair have to worry about all these super minions in the mid lane too, so they can't just hover around the river and hope for the best. And we gotta see, if they can land themselves this wombo combo once again, could be absolutely huge. Does Cooper have his teleport available? Yes, both of the top laners do actually. So they can get themselves right into the fight in a moment's notice pretty much. Just another couple moments, clear out as much vision as possible. If you have to go back to get items, go get them now, because it's about to get bloody in about a minute's time.
Yeah, and Lazi is on that full build, so has that one extra item over the Caitlyn, who is most likely building towards an IE, it looks like. So, gonna have some more damage soon, but St. Clair does reset as his Baron has spawned now. But they're waiting for Cooper to stack up that Gnar bar, which he does have now, so he's rotated back up to that mid lane. And they're looking for this fight, hoping to draw out possibly a TP from Gruss. And it looks like uOttawa is just going to clear this vision that St. Clair all had on there. And gonna get a little aggressive push up on this bush and take out the pink ward, but gonna take a reset as St. Clair goes back and clears out all that vision. Just barely almost catching Flux there on that back end. Looks like they're gonna start the Baron. Do know that there's a pink ward, but with Flux just backing there, they're gonna shred through this. And the Corki backing for his package, a TP coming in deep from the side of Gruss, but that Baron is just going to be gone before it even get there. Double TP coming through. They do have the package now.
Oh
the
my!
Man ulti on top, but the Galli ulti gets interrupted as everyone just gets shredded. Ozzy does manage to find his way out, but is it enough as he does go down to Gruss into the GA? That's just going to be a wipe as St. Clair is going to go down.
That's it.
Most likely going to be game for the side of uOttawa.
Oh my god, those are the lightning maelstroms that Kedden mains across the world absolutely dream about. Group them up in the jungle, no escape, just instant 5-team or full team stun. Everybody's dead. It just took one thing. Saints were so close to trying to get themselves back into this, and one miscalculation. And it's going to be uOttawa GG's, putting Saints on match point.
Yeah, they're going to go up 2-0 in this series. Just a spectacular game coming out from Open Backpack on that Corki, being 16-2-12, as well as Russ just having these massive ultis on top. Even though he was 2-6, he still had these crazy ultis, as he had that deep ward in the Wolves pit from the side of uOttawa, which just in the end just destroyed St. Clair as he cut off their only way out. So really good stuff coming out from uOttawa. And if St. Clair really want to get back in this game, they need to fix up some of their miscalculations in these drafts and go back to what they know is good and works for them.
I mean, that was like just Wombo combo versus Wombo combo was just absolutely amusing to kind of watch here. Like, I mean, sure, like you're saying, Gruss may not necessarily be the one doing the damage here, but at the same time, when you have Open Backpack, like, able to just shred with a bunch of rockets, bunch of AoE damage. You have TA for Life, who's also just constantly peppering from the sidelines, keeping himself safe. And then I never ever remembered a Rek'Sai being able to dish out damage. I always thought it was always just a massive meat shield. But Fluxray on this Rek'Sai was actually doing some decent damage as well. And Because unfortunately, there for St. Clair, it just takes one misexecution,
Mm.
one unfortunate call. They got the Baron, but you just did not respect the cannon. They did not see the teleport coming in, of course. You called that out pretty
Mhm.
much right off the start, too. That as soon as they tried to retreat, that was going to be a problem. And sure enough, it's going to be uOttawa GG's calculating that perfectly and really putting the Saints in the hot seat now, as they only have, or they have to reverse sweep here. And versus the
Mhm.
second seed of the entire league, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, they're really, looking for a miracle now to get that reverse sweep, and they will be starting on that blue side, it looks like, so have that first pick if they want to opt for, the Gnar or something else time around, but if they're gonna do something like that, they it seems like have to go back to what they know is good, and, they've put those 2 games in of testing things out and it's not been the best for them, so for them to come back, they have to stick to what they know.
Absolutely. Now, as the players are hopping into the lobby, just going to be another quick moment here. So, bit of a water break for us here on the casting desk. We're going to take ourselves 5 minutes and hop right back in as the draft is about to begin. Of course, you would all have GG's up 2-0 so far in the series. But of course, these OPSE playoffs, best of 5. Saints have to reverse sweep. Do they get it started in game number 3, or is it going to be a quick night for us? We'll find out shortly. Stick with us.